Happy Thursday, everyone! The market had another crazy day as a bunch of different stocks continued to climb higher, but bulls didn't just have a crazy day in the stock market today. A rogue bull in New Jersey was on the train tracks today and caused a bunch of delays and was really running the show. I'll tell you what, Tom, this is something you definitely don't see every day, but bulls really are going crazy in multiple different ways.
They really are, and I thought that bulls were getting a little bit too overly excited in the stock market. Now they're pouring over onto the train tracks, so I think that this is hilarious, Mike, and man, I'll tell you, this looks like a show bull or something like that. Imagine going to the train station and seeing some bull with huge, those are big horns like this. I don't know that whoever's from Texas, let me know if that bull meets your standards or not. But man, Mike, like you said, there was a lot of stocks that continued their bullishness today. Tesla being one of those. Everybody's been looking at Tesla a lot lately. It was up 4.9%. And if we actually go to a daily chart, it was actually breaking a key trend line. Look at that blue trend line here that's extending down. We're getting that key breakout there on Tesla following that truck event that happened last week. So I'll keep watching Tesla for a possible breakout happening tomorrow. But man, Mike, it's so cool to see the market running. Now, I will say, end of day, it did come back ever so slightly. And one thing to keep in mind is if we go to a daily chart and we zoom out a little bit, we're actually sitting right at resistance from 2021. If we zoom in on the SPY chart, this resistance up here, sitting right around 473 to 474, is right where the SPY hit today. So be very wary over the next couple days of that overhead level.
No doubt about that, and what I think is pretty interesting right now is that, obviously we had the FOMC interest rate decision yesterday, but it just wasn't any normal FOMC interest rate decision. It actually resulted in the best Fed day in the market since 2009. So basically what we can see on the chart right now is, the giant green day that we saw yesterday, and then when you look back at yesterday's performance and you compare it to data going all the way back to 2009, really nothing else compares. But yeah, it has been a crazy week in the market so far. And another thing that's kind of, something that you should definitely be aware of is if we shift over into a chart talking about call skew right now, basically what we're seeing right now is on the blue line on this chart, you can see that it basically represents the prices of call options. So when the blue line goes up a bunch, it means call options are super expensive and everyone is in like a euphoric stage where it's like, they're just super euphoric, right? At the same time, when that blue line falls, it means people don't really care about call options. Right now, call skew is at one of its highest levels in a while, and basically, we're just seeing a lot of, euphoria just kind of control the markets right now, and we all know what Warren Buffett says, be greedy when others are fearful and fearful when others are greedy. So, by any means, it is, not the end of the world, but, there's definitely nothing wrong with being at least a little bit careful or, a little bit skeptical going into the next couple days.
I know, right? Especially with the market almost double topping here. We go look at the SPY and it is so close to double topping up here around this 473 to 480 resistance. It did actually get very close to 480 at the all-time high. So I would say, Mike, for the next couple weeks, it's going to be pretty hard for the bulls, in my opinion. We've been running up a ton, and as we hit this resistance here, we'll probably see at least a little bit of chop come in, unless we just break 480 and just go running up, with some extreme parabolic movement. But I doubt that happens, considering how much we've already moved. It's definitely possible, though, so maybe if we do see the all-time high break, that'll be awesome. But for right now, with yesterday's move heading into today, I could not believe that the market is sitting at 473, or at least the SPY is. I would have never thought that we got this high that quickly from the Fed event, and I really like that chart showing the best Fed days, Mike, because it shows that actually most Fed days don't end up very good. You can see that most Fed days end up pretty red.
Exactly. So another thing I want to talk about really quickly is if we look at a chart of SPY, over the past month or so, we can just see a non-stop uptrend basically since the end of October. SPY is up over 15%. If you're someone who thinks that next month we're also going to see a 15% 15% return on SPY, you are out of your mind, because that would just be like a beyond historic move. But at the same time, it's not like the market is just gonna, crash and burn, right? Realistically, it'll be somewhere in the middle. But one thing that is very important is that instead of trying to wonder, oh, what is SPY going to do tomorrow? What's SPY going to do next week? It's like, instead of trying to confuse yourself, you can just look at other areas of the market. For example, IWM is really blasting to the upside right now, and basically it's a major market indice, just like SPY, but it follows some of the smaller cap stocks. And something that is pretty cool is that IWM call volume is basically at a record high right now. We can just see IWM call volume has been surging non-stop lately, and honestly it makes sense, especially given the recent run-up, but also the recent, you could say, dovishness from Jerome Powell yesterday, with rates coming lower sooner than expected, because the lower rates go, the better it is for some of these smaller companies out there.
Yeah, and we've seen a lot of these smaller companies and growth stocks start to really pop off over the past few months and couple weeks. I mean, I know that some of these might not be necessarily in the IWM, Mike, but, we look at like Square, a beaten down stock like that. We look at Zoom. We look at DraftKings. We can go across the market and look at a ton of stocks right now that are starting to come up. Lucid is one that comes to mind. They had a great day today, up 14%. Rivian, SEDG, Solar Edge, Enphase. Enphase actually just got taken out of the NASDAQ. So I'm really curious here, Mike, how these beaten down stocks keep going, and I really like the IWM overall, or the Russell 2000. For anybody interested out there, look up a list of the Russell 2000. I think that you'll see some pretty notable names that have some extremely volatile options that can make for some great day trades and even swing trades over the next few months, I think, as these stocks start to recover.
Yeah, no doubt about that. So either way, there are some pretty good opportunities right in front of us. So let's get right into them, Tom. One stock I'm watching very closely going into tomorrow is Peloton. And I talked about this stock yesterday, and I've been talking about it quite a bit over like the past couple weeks or so. Basically, Peloton had a basically 9% update today, and it was up even more earlier in the day. But Peloton is one of those stocks where it's like, it's clearly not overbought, but at the same time, it's starting to see like a nice bid come into play, and the recent bullishness across the entire market definitely helps them out too. So Peloton's a stock that I'll be watching pretty closely. There was a recent big money trade on this one as well, and as long as this bullish price action and sentiment and momentum just continues to flow into it, I think it has a lot of short-term potential.
Yeah, me too, Mike. And that big money play was the 10 strike calls for January 17, 2025. So I do like it short term too, but the big money actually had a bit of a longer term play on this one. So you guys can check that one out if you want to. But Mike, when I go to the Peloton's chart, they've been low for a long time, and hopefully the big money can start to see it pop up above like $6 to $7 here. I think if we start to break out above this big resistance, we'll start to see a lot better movement. And the way it's looking right now, it looks like it's going to start to break that maybe come next week or over the next month or so.
Good stuff. All right, Tom, what do you have on your radar for tomorrow?
Yeah, so with my first stock, I'm actually going with Tesla. And man, Tesla is looking amazing on the daily chart. I'm a big trend line player, and I'm looking here at Tesla above this key trend line. I have red arrows drawn out to every single hit that Tesla's hit on this slight downtrend here ever since June of 2023. So there's been a few hits here, Mike. We're finally breaking the blue trend. We're sitting above $250 here at market close. So as long as we hold above 250 tomorrow morning and we can see a solid break above like 252, I think that we could see some pretty good momentum come in. They've had a lot of good news with their truck lately, and I do think that Tesla will start to see a little bit more hype here, and I'm loving their action right now, Mike. They're doing great today on a day where Microsoft and SPY actually pulled back a little bit.
Yeah, that's some great strength out of Tesla today. So good stuff there. Another stock I'm watching pretty closely, Tom, is, I'll say this, it's a little bit crazy, but sometimes that's a good thing, right? But either way, I'm watching Tilray, and basically, for those of you who don't know, it is a marijuana stock. These stocks are some of the craziest stocks in the entire market. Long story short, most of the time they fade down because there's a lot working against these types of companies right now. But every now and then they go absolutely ballistic. And when they go ballistic, you know, there's a bunch of volume and bullish price action and all of that associated with those runs. But the key component of an actual run with Tilray is volume flowing into this stock. Today, it definitely had more volume than normal, and it had some great price action. So I will have some very close eyes on this one to the upside, not only for tomorrow, but even the weeks going forward. And I think it definitely has potential, but it has to keep up this strong volume each day for this one to actually have a good shot at what I'll say, going ballistic.
I know, right? And like when we go back in time and we start to look at the other times where Tilray started seeing some of this good volume coming in, that stock really starts to go on some big runs. So I love it at these levels, Mike. I'm actually buying shares of it for the longer term at these levels. Now, I will say that it's very risky with Tilray. It's obviously nothing like Apple or AMD or Tesla or anything of that magnitude, right? I actually, Mike, when I buy Tilray, I act like whatever I put in it is just dead, honestly. but I hold it long term. With my next play, I'm going with Intel. They actually had some great news today. They made new yearly highs again, but I will say this. They pulled back pretty hard towards the end of day, but if they keep bouncing off this support and they keep staying above 45, I will look at calls for tomorrow. They actually came out with new AI chips to compete with NVIDIA and AMD. I think that this news actually went extremely under the radar, and Intel itself, I think, has been under the radar for a long time. We go out to the daily chart. They obviously don't have the hype that AMD or NVIDIA has had, but their growth this year is actually still pretty good. Like, from the lows of this year to the high of today, they're up like 89%, which is pretty damn good.
There we go. So keep a close eye on that stock going forward as well. But with that being said, Tom, let's get right into the momentum plays for today. And with today's first one, we have Lucid to the upside.
Wow, Mike, I don't know what happened, but the clean energy plays, especially the beaten down ones, did great today. If Lucid can break back above like 520 to 530 tomorrow, I'll start to look at calls again.
All right, with the next one, we have Enphase also to the upside.
Yeah, this one was awesome too. I actually like this setup even better. There's like a nice triple top here intraday. If they can break 124, then I up those calls.
All right, and then with the last one, we have Microsoft, but to the downside.
I will say this, Microsoft really blew my mind today. We actually talked about this one yesterday going in both directions and ended up falling under 373, which made for a great drop today. I mean, it pretty much fell all day long. So we'll be looking at it again to the downside tomorrow. If it can break this intraday support right around 365, then look at puts.
Sounds great. So we have that downside level for Microsoft. Basically, if it breaks below that, we're watching it to the downside tomorrow. And then don't forget about Enphase and Lucid, both of which have potential upside potential, you could say, but only if they break above the levels Tom listed. But those are the momentum plays for today. So let's get right into the big money trade of the day now. And it is a $3.56 million trade with ticker symbol FXI. So FXI is basically an ETF of a bunch of different China stocks. These stocks have been getting blown out over the past couple of years. And now we are seeing the big money put $3.56 million into the FXI $24.85 strike call options that expire on March 15th of 2024. So looking at the setup right now, in the event that either the Chinese recovery at least, does a little bit better than it is now, or even if the sentiment associated with it improves, FXI has a ton of potential. Basically looking at some Chinese stocks, whether it's Alibaba or Baidu or NIO or JD or anything like that, they've had great days today, and they are showing some pretty decent signs of recovering up in the short term. So I do like the risk to reward with this setup. The strike price is pretty close to the money, and there's definitely a good amount of time with these call options as well. So keep a very close eye on this one going forward. I think it's going to be one of the more interesting big money trades that we've seen in a while.
For anybody who's watched the channel for a while, you probably know that I'm not the biggest fan of the China stocks, right? But I will say this, they are seeming to provide a really good opportunity right now at the moment to see the big money getting into some of these plays, whether it's NIO or Queb or JD or Baidu. I'm really liking some of these. I really am a fan of these NIO big money plays that we've seen come in lately. It keeps holding that $7 support. Just yesterday, Mike, on Wednesday, December 13th, people were freaking out about NIO, right? But these China stocks just bounced off big supports, and almost all of them have been coming back. Like you said, whether it's Baba, JD, Baidu, they're all doing pretty well. Even TCEHY, Tencent, is starting to come up a little bit more. But these China stocks are looking good, Mike. And whenever you see someone put $3 million in, that's always a good sign. And this is coming from someone who doesn't even like the China stocks that much, just because it's just a little bit more added risk. But sometimes that can be good. If the SPY double tops, man, I'll be watching the China stocks like a hawk, because as our market falls, maybe China will provide better opportunities.
Exactly. So keep a close eye on FXI going forward. But if you guys are looking for basically a update every single day of multi-million-dollar big money trades, definitely check this out. Basically nonstop over the past 2 weeks, almost every single big money trade has just been going crazy, whether it is the CLM call options from yesterday, or the SAVA call options from the other day, or SEDG call options, or the NIO call options, or the MRVL call options, or the HOOD call options, or the play with IRWD, or BBWI, or Peloton, or IOVA, or any of the other ones. These types of plays have been going ballistic. If you want to join in on the trading floor, you'll get access to these big money trades every single day, but before the market closes. So a lot of times you can get better entry prices, and then on top of that, you get full access to all of our bots, all of our technology. You can chat with Tom and myself all day long, and you could also join the live events and a whole lot more. Basically, if you're into short-term trading, it is the place to be. We even have multiple different channels and pieces of technology for long-term investing as well. The Stocked Up trading floor is the place to be. Big money trades, bot plays, live education, all that good stuff. It's going to be that first link in the description, in the comments down below. In the absolute worst case scenario, you can cancel at any time, but it's the place to be. So definitely check it out. And while we're in the Discord, we want to give a giant shout out to one of the members of the Stocked Up trading floor, Jane, who has been so active and who's been working so hard, especially over the past couple weeks. She made this post in the Discord today saying, "This is my calendar since joining the community," and she's been so consistent, so positive, and she's been working so hard. So huge shout out to Jane, and keep up all that great work.
Yeah, that's awesome, Jane. That's an amazing calendar. I'm really glad that you're starting to see some better success lately, and hey, keep it up. I'm glad to see you doing well, and like Mike said, thanks for always being so active and such a crucial member of our community here.
You know it. Well, yeah, I mean, Tom, the market is at an exciting point right now. SPY has been blasting up better than it has in a very long time, and we're starting to see some of the stocks that have been lagging behind start to finally pop up in a pretty big way. You know, a couple examples of that would be stocks like, you could say Peloton or Rivian or Bank of America or Sunrun or Lucid or a bunch of other stocks like that. So I think we're set for a pretty exciting, not only end to the week, but an end to the 2023 trading year. It's been a wild ride.
It really has, and it's pretty crazy to say that we're already to the end of 2023. I guess time flies when you're having fun, right? And 2023 has been one of the more bullish years. If you guys haven't started a long-term portfolio, I definitely recommend it because 2023 is looking pretty good, Mike, for the long-term account, to say the least. But with these stocks starting to run up, it's looking awesome, and there's still a lot of great opportunities here for tomorrow and the next few days as well. Don't forget about Tesla. I'm really loving that one with the breakout on the trend right now.
There we go. Well, again, if you guys want in on the Stocked Up trading floor, check it out. It's that first link in the description and the comments down below. We have everything you could possibly need for short-term trading. And besides that, let's end the week on a fantastic note. Thanks for watching.